Australia today. Now, I think the story says are going to expel the Iran's ambassador. So let's have a listen as to why, and then let's discuss.
In what's likely to spark a diplomatic firestorm, Australia has expelled Iran's ambassador, accusing the nation of orchestrating at least 2 anti-Semitic attacks on Australian soil. An investigation into a spate of attacks finding Iran was behind the firebombing of a synagogue in Melbourne last December.
Just stop and think about that. I mean, we are basically Australia. I mean, don't be offended, but, you know, our culture, the way we live, you know, I mean, if you closed your eyes and you looked down most streets, you wouldn't know whether it was Wellington or Melbourne or whatever. Lots of similarities. A foreign nation, I mean, we have had this with, you know, Rainbow Warrior in France attacking us. But imagine a foreign nation sending people there or using people from that country to commit acts of terror. That to me just is like, this is stuff from the other side of the world. It's and why is Iran getting involved in Australia? Like what does this serve? It's a very, very bizarre thing.
And a similar attack on a Jewish eatery 2 months earlier. Australia has closed its embassy in Iran, urging its citizens to leave the country and travellers not to go there.
These were extraordinary and dangerous acts of aggression orchestrated by a foreign nation on Australian soil. They were attempts to undermine social cohesion and sow discord in our community.
Australia is moving to label Iran's Revolutionary Guard a terrorist organisation. Our Foreign Minister Winston Peters says New Zealand unequivocally condemns Iran's actions.
Yeah, it's Chewie. Yeah, I mean, you're much more knowledgeable than me in the world of sort of military and what's going on. What are your thoughts?
So I saw the initial stories around the attack on the mosque and I believe an Israeli restaurant as well, and at the time I thought they were odd. They kind of stood out. Obviously there was a pro-Palestinian movement in Australia as there is here, but very much like here, it seems to be very, very focused on the IDF, Netanyahu's government, and Zionism. It doesn't seem to be the whole everything Jewish is bad, so we're going to firebomb a mosque. Firebomb a synagogue and a restaurant. It just seemed really, really strange. Obviously, this is quite a fresh story. There's Australian Intelligence Agency, ACO, I think they're called, haven't really mentioned what they've found or how they've found it, but they've obviously found enough proof that members of Iran's Revolutionary Guard or their intelligence apparatus in Australia was creating links with criminal elements and prodding them to do these actions, hoping to, I guess, kick off some sort of higher levels of conflict between supporters of Israel and supporters of Palestine and Gaza, and sowing, I guess, public disharmony. Again, it's like you said, it is strange. I don't know why Iran would have chosen Australia as a target. Who knows if Australia is Iran's only target in this. It's hard to feel bad for the Iranian government, but like maybe this is what like they have militarily hit Israel as best they can. So now they're looking at some other ways to attack Israelis overseas, but Australia seems pretty confident that they've got them on this.
I missed it as well. I think people are in the chat are saying synagogue, not mosque. Might have said an attack on a mosque.
Yes, I'm not sure. I misspoke there.
Okay,
it was an attack on a synagogue.
Interesting. A couple of these sorts of things coming through as well. Bizarre. It's bizarre. What about a Mossad distraction? More like a Mossad false flag. So the question is, forget independent terrorist kind of cell for whatever reason, but country of Iran, what's the purpose of this? What are they trying to do? Because this is not going to like put the world in, it's not like a 9/11, obviously, and put the world in fear and shut down. It's nothing like that. So what is it? It doesn't, if we do that Occam's razor thing, which I know is not always useful, but what's the most logical conclusion here? What's the fewest number of assumptions to get to an outcome? And if you start to think about that, like a false flag, conspiracy theorists use false flags for everything. But in this instance, you kind of go, well, you can, if nothing else, and I'm not going to go down that line because I don't know, but if nothing else, you can go, I could see a reason why that might be done. Why would Iran attack 2 locations in Australia? It's not like Australia is part of the coalition of the willing. It's not like Australia was the planes that were given to drop the bombs on their nuclear sites. It's like, what is it? This is what I would like to know.
And I think that's always the question you should ask when something like this comes up, is who has what to gain? And I must admit, this seems to be a lot of risk for Iran for very little payoff.
Yeah, what's it about?
Whereas Australia has gone from being a very staunch supporter of Israel and an American ally to being a little bit shaky on that. So maybe Mossad sees an opportunity here to do a little bit of false flagging and sort of go, well, look, we're Australia's friend. We'd never do something like this, but Iran are bad, so you should close their embassy. Yeah, look, I can see that. And look, I'm really hesitant to go down the false flag route as well, because you see all the time the cookers and the fucking Nazis and all of that sort of thing, that it's always a false flag. It's always a false flag. But, I would love to see more information come out of it. I'm not expecting more information to come out of it. I can't imagine that ACO is going to want to show their what do they call it? Resources and techniques, or whatever where they're getting their intelligence from. There's no way that they're going to talk about that. But for a country to close an embassy and send their that country's ambassadorial staff home is a big hammer to drop.
Especially because they've done the background. If they've come to the conclusion that it was Iran, it wasn't like, I'm not saying that you do it this way, but in a false flag, you might want to be caught, as in to put out there that this is what it is. I don't know. But look, it also does raise this question about ambassadors. And Chewie, you've said this numerous times about why hasn't the Israeli ambassador been sent from New Zealand, for example. Now, there's been 2 attacks which have been linked to Iran, which the Australian government believe to be Iran. So it's Iran as far as we know and as far as we're concerned. And so the embassy has been closed and the ambassador sent home. But is it fair now to ask the question, when tens, probably hundreds, look, when I say probably hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, if you destroy a city, if you 94% destroy the city of 2 million people, there's more than 80,000 dead people. So probably hundreds of thousands of people have been killed via war crimes. Is it time to put out there Australia, New Zealand, Israel's ambassador? Why are they still here? Iran committed, let's say, 2 acts of terror, which on the scale of acts of terror we've seen around the world in the last 30 years are pretty minor. Israel has killed tens/hundreds of thousands of people via war crimes. Their ambassadors sitting comfortably in their ambassadorials. Chewie.
Yeah, I am no fan of the Iranian regime as well. I guess when you look back to the Israel had illegally attacked them and Iran responded, and I kind of went, yep, that's all justified. Iran has supported a lot of terrorist groups throughout that region for many, many years. They're an oppressive regime, and the Iranian people need to get rid of them. But yeah, I can't pick a bad guy in here. Like, and I guess this is something that is geopolitics down to, like, they're not always black and white hats, are they?
Well, yeah, but hang on. When you say you can't pick a bad guy, do you mean there's no good guys?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I can't point to one, Israel or Iran, who's the good guy here. They're both being pricks.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, well, yeah, okay, cool. So you've decided that Iran's been doing shitty things in your country and you want to kick them out. Fair enough. Like, that's Australia's call to make. Their intelligence agency, by all accounts, is very effective. So I'm sure that they are confident in what they're doing here, and I'm not going to shed any tears for the Iranian regime having their embassy closed. But as you said, by the same token, why has Israel not done enough to have their embassy closed? Like, they've sent all the messages. They've said, like, oh, you're looking like a pack of psychos. You should calm down. What's the next diplomatic step? Another letter?
It's an interesting question for next year's election. If the Israeli ambassador is still in New Zealand, are you going to send him home? Chloe, are you going to send him home? Chippy, are you going to send him home? Seymour, are you going to send him home? Winston, are you going to send him home? It's a pretty good question for all the parties to see where they're at.